This is Aubrey Warner, NSH's Director for Meetings and Education. Travel restrictions around the coronavirus led NSH to offer our annual convention virtually this year. I was heartbroken to not see our attendees in person, but really proud of the great education histology leaders and NSH members produced, including one of my favorite features of our convention, our scientific poster gallery. Please enjoy this year's installment of Poster Podcast featuring conversations with our 2020 poster presenters discussing their research. Thanks for listening.
Hi, everyone. This is Connie with the National Society for Histotechnology. On the phone with Photini Rice, who was one of our poster presenters for the 2020 NSH Virtual Symposium Convention. And her poster was Anatomy and Mechanical Properties of the Fallopian Tubes. And she presented this with us in our digital poster gallery, and also presented during the live event a little bit about her content, and has been gracious enough to join us here for a quick chat to talk a little bit more about her work and her research. So welcome to our episode.
Thank you.
So your poster, The Anatomy and Mechanical Properties of Fallopian Tubes. Why this topic? Why was it worth your time researching and then putting all of this together to share with us?
Well, this research involved the kind of a precursor to our imaging equipment. We have developed a falloposcope and a salpingoscope, but the falloposcope in particular, we are looking into imaging the fallopian tubes in onto the ovary. So that's kind of what this background was, where we needed to find out the mechanical properties of the fallopian tubes before inserting and inflating the fallopian tubes for safety.
And I'm looking at some of the images that you've included on your poster. Were these images that were captured with falloposcope?
No, these are not. This is kind of the precursor. So, but of course, our motivation is ovarian cancer and early detection.
Well, the images are beautiful that you've included. And for the folks that are going to have an opportunity or have had an opportunity to look at the poster itself, in the testing and results section in particular, there's some really beautiful images that really walk through the different testing that was done. When you were putting this together and doing this, you mentioned about this is the precursor to sort of a bigger project and a bigger pathway. Were you surprised by anything that you came across as you were doing some of the research or the testing?
Well, what we were actually really happy to be surprised by was we used pig fallopian tubes initially. So we get tissue discards from the pig, and we tested the pressurization of the tubes. So we found that human fallopian tubes can withstand a greater pressurization than the pig fallopian tubes, which made that an ideal model for safety testing.
Oh, that's a really exciting finding. Now, I'm going to kind of skip ahead. We tend to have like these questions in an order, but I want to actually skip ahead to one of our last questions, only because, as you mentioned, this is sort of the beginning of this larger path that you guys are on. So now that you've done this research, what are sort of the next steps in this process for you all? Or for example, if you were to put together, let's say next year in Omaha, you guys are going to put another poster together as a follow-up to this research. Do you have any ideas of what that might be?
Yes, actually, we have the instruments already in progress, and some of them are completed, and we are ready to go into the OR. So we want to do in vivo test imaging. So that I hope maybe this time next year we'll have some images of actually in vivo testing and comparing the histology to that.
Oh, that would be so exciting. It'd be incredible too to see based off of the work that you've done in this project and then looking at the work that you do in the next project. Going back to just the poster itself for this year, when somebody comes up to it, what's something that you want them to notice right away?
Oh, well, sure. I really like to make sure that people notice that how much effort and care is taken to really make sure devices are safe before they go into the human body. So I think it's really important that we show people that, how important histology is to this project and to any research project that's going to be going into humans.
So was this your first poster? I know it might have been your first here with NSH, but is this your first scientific poster that you've done?
No, actually it's my second NSH poster.
Oh, it is. Awesome. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Oh, that's okay. That the work prior to that, we were looking at ex vivo tissue and saying, well, can we use our imaging modalities to see the tissue and see abnormalities? So, and I also have used done some posters for different conferences around the university.
So you're pretty much a pro now at this. What would be 2 or 3 tips you'd want to give people who might be newer at this process that they should keep in mind as they're developing their project?
Well, I definitely would encourage people to submit a poster and take a look at other posters from other years and listen to the podcast. And what's really helpful is to get input from your lab mates. It's really helpful.
Now, when you are working with other folks in the lab, obviously there's quite a few people here listed in your credits. Did that team where you guys already knew what you were going to do, or was this the result of, like you said, working with lab mates and then kind of just bringing people into the fold, or was this a set team that you already knew set going out into this research?
Oh no, it evolved. Like I said, we have students that come, undergrads and graduate students come and go. So the work just continues, and hopefully, you'll have one graduate student have a project and move along to the next. But it was a progression, like I said, this was our next step to go and make sure that, this is safe before we actually go and put it into people by using leftover tissues and testing. Actually, I wanted to mention too that we have submitted a paper on this project, so to the Journal of Histotechnology. So we're hoping to get that moving.
Oh, I'm sure it will. And I know we'll be excited to be able to talk about it more or have it in that publication. Is there anything else that you want people to know about the work that you've done, or whether it's the poster or whether about the larger project here that you've been working on?
Well, just statistics on ovarian cancer and the importance of early detection, and what our ultimate, end project is the falloposcope, where we're going in and using it as a minimally invasive device compared to what's really, there's nothing really out there now for screening high-risk patients. So it's just really exciting to conduct all this research that leads up to the end project. And so hopefully we can help a lot of women and save lives.
Absolutely. And again, it's a really nice, it's really nice to hear that you've completed this stage or in this other phase of it right now. And then, like you said earlier, the idea being that people should know how much research and care goes into the creation of instrumentation. Thank you so much for your time. And, again, we hope that we'll get to see maybe some follow-up work here when we look in 2021, hopefully in Omaha, if we're all there, I hope.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the 2020 Poster Podcast. Don't forget to check out NSH's other podcast series, including Histo Help and Women in Histology.